Hey guys, I am gone today, so what I want you to do is to watch this review video that just reviews what we learned on Thursday, which was lesson 7-8. And we're just going to quickly recap what we learned because you're going to work on this concept again today before you move on to a whole chapter review before our test. Okay? So I've highlighted in orange, green, and blue the three different formulas that we discussed on Thursday for lesson 7-8. So if you look at the orange one, we have a plus b inside our parentheses, and outside our parentheses we have squared. So just like if I asked you what is 3 squared, you would say 9 because you did 3 times 3. So applying that same idea, if we have a plus b squared, that's the same as having a plus b times a plus b. And we talked about how you could FOIL this, or if you memorize the formula for it, it ends up going faster than having to use FOIL. Ultimately on the test, I'll let you choose which method you want to do, but I do want you to practice using the formula. So the shortcut method is you take your a term, so whatever is the first thing in your parentheses, and you square it. Then you add it to 2 times your first term times your second term, so whatever the second thing is inside your parentheses. And then you add on b squared, which is whatever the last thing is in your parentheses, squared. So make sure you have that written down somewhere to help you with the assignment. And then the same concept kind of applies for that green formula that we have, but instead of a plus, we have a minus. So we have a minus b squared, so that's a minus b times a minus b. And it's basically the same formula. You start by squaring your a term, but then instead of plus 2ab, we do a minus 2ab plus b squared. So make sure you have that written down as well, and you know the difference between the orange and the green formula. And then your favorite formula was the blue one, which is when you have a plus b times a minus b. That ends up just being a squared minus b squared. Okay, so make sure you have that written down as well. All right, let's go through one example of each. So if I have 8c plus 3a and that whole thing is squared, that's the same as saying 8c plus 3a times 8c plus 3a. And I could go through and I could do my lovely FOIL, but I want to practice using my formula. So I'm going to do my a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. So my a term is always the first thing in the parentheses. So I have 8c squared plus 2 times, we said a was 8c. And then my b term is the second thing in the parentheses. So I have 3a plus, and then I have 3a squared. So if I go through 8c squared, I need to distribute that 2 to everything inside. So 8 squared is 64, and then c squared I can write as c squared plus 2 times 8 times, or 2 times 8c times 3a. That's the same as multiplying your coefficients. So let's look at our numbers. 2 times 8 times 3. If I do that, I end up at 48. And then I have c times a, so I can write that ca or ac plus. And then I have 3a squared. So again, just like with my a term, I'm going to distribute that squared. So I have 3 squared, which is 9. And then I have a squared. That is my final answer right there. So that's how you use the formula. Let's try it again, but this time let's try it with subtraction. So I have my a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. So my a term is going to be that 6p squared minus 2 times 6p times, I have 1 times 1 squared, or sorry, plus 1 squared. So 6p squared, I distribute that squared. 6 squared is 36, and then I have p squared minus Then I have 2 times 6 times 1, that's 12. Then I only have one variable, so I'm going to put 12p. Then plus 1 squared, which is just 1. So I have my final answer right there. And let's look at our last example from Friday, which is where we had the same numbers and everything in the parentheses, but one was plus and one was minus. So my formula for this one is a squared minus b squared. So I look and I say, okay, a is 3n squared minus b is 2 squared. So 3n squared, I distribute my exponent, so 3 squared is 9, n squared is n squared, minus, and then 2 squared is 4. So I am done once I hit that point. Hopefully that was a nice little refresher for you, and then you can now complete your homework assignment. Good luck!